It's a little snowy. So, just got snow in my shoe. I just wanted to show you guys how pretty the snow is right now. So I didn't really bundle up. And you guys are always seeing off my balcony, so I was like, no, you guys don't want to see off my balcony. For the umpteenth millionth time. Echo took my spot. She's sitting right here. Hello. Hello. Get your camera all set up, and then the girls just sit right in front of it. They're like, oh, this spot. I thought you were setting it up for me. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to day 5? No, 6 of 12 days of Vlogmas. We're halfway through. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I hope you guys have been enjoying this little series. It's actually kind of been really fun to just do like these little daily vlogs and then like have time to edit them and post them, and just been nice. Over this weekend was a little chaotic, but that's because we had a lot going on. We had our little health scare with Jinx. We had my niece over. It felt very chaotic. I was almost to the point of like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to continue doing 12 days of Vlogmas, but we're halfway through. We're halfway through. And I have an idea. I actually saw another booktuber post this, and I was like, oh my god, that's so smart. That's like such an easy way to like do a Vlogmas day, or for her, she's doing Bookmas. It's such an easy way to kind of like still put up a video, low effort video. To some of you that may be like, okay, but like if you're it can be a little draining to like pretty much film all day and then edit in the evening and then post, okay? I don't understand people who do daily vlogs. That shit's wild. What she did is she did just like a fireside music situation, which I thought was really cute. I've done that in the past. I did one where it was like a read with me for an hour and I sat by the Christmas tree. It was literally this time last year. Was it this time last year? Yeah. It was literally this time last year where I did that, where I sat by the Christmas tree. I read a book. I was reading Funny Story, which actually ended up being like one of the worst books that I read last year. So it is a little funny that that's the book I was reading. And I just had an overlay of music playing while we read together. And then during the spring time, I did a read with me in nature, where I had the wildlife of Minnesota going off in the background. It was a lot of geese chirping away, but I don't know, I thought that was actually really fun. And that was all, like, I didn't do any sound overlays or anything with that. I think like literally the only sound overlay I did with that was a countdown timer. But I think this time around what I'm gonna do is have a work with me session. I'm gonna do like a slight overlay of maybe some like lo-fi jazz, but I'm gonna set up my mic to predominantly have it be like keyboard clicking noises and mouse clicking noises. Also, people always like lose their minds when they see my mouse. It's an ergonomic mouse, so it actually holds your hand is held this way when you're holding it. And y'all, it has done wonders for my carpal tunnel. Oh my god. I can't remember the last time I had wrist issues or just hand issues since getting an ergonomic mouse. Like, it is very rare that it happens. Whereas for, I would say honestly, like the past 5 years when I was just using like a regular mouse, my hands were just numb 24/7 pretty much. I literally took off, not like days of work, but I would literally take off an afternoon of work because like I just could not feel my hands. So if you are a work from home girly or dude, and I was actually looking at my stats the other day, and I have a large male audience, which I don't know how or why that happened. I'm like so curious if it's because of my Stray Kids content. Before that, I had a very large female audience, so it's interesting. But if you're a work from home person, or if you're just a person who has a desk job and you're on a mouse and keyboard and computer all day long, may I recommend getting an ergonomic mouse. Sorry, my brain is like squirreling out right now because I feel like I haven't just like sat down and talked with you in a while. And so my brain's not like focusing on one specific topic. It's just like, hey, let me just data dump everything to you right now. So one of these Vlogmas days is gonna be just I wouldn't say ASMR, but like an ASMR work with me day. I don't know what today is gonna be like, honestly. I have no clue. Okay, here's the problem, y'all. Let's actually talk about all these books that I'm doing right now, all these Advent books we got. But we are listening to The Gathering by C.J. Tudor today. It is so interesting. I know we're not talking about it, but we will be talking about it. I think probably, I don't know if it's gonna go up at the end of December or sometime in January. Because the video that's part of, I have 2 other books to read. I have 2 other books to read for that one. Anyways, done with that. Let's actually hop into our Advent calendar books. So, A Heart for Christmas. Nothing much has changed. It is like still a cute story, but it is very elementary in its storytelling ways. And then Merry Myrtle. I am devastated. I finally kind of figured out, like, I'm a little embarrassed to say, but on day 5 is when I kind of figured out how to actually do the Myrtles properly. So day 5 was great. Day 6 was fantastic. Oh my God, day 6 was like my best day. I solved every element. I solved the who with the what and the where. It was perfect. And then day 7 slapped me in the face and said, oh, you thought you were doing this well? Because day 7 was my worst in the sense that I got it so terribly wrong. Here's a little spoiler if you're doing the Myrtles. By this point, if you are doing the Merry Christmas, if you're doing the Merry Myrtle, you're already past this day. But if you have any intention of doing this like outside of an Advent calendar situation, spoilers. I said it was midnight 3 with the ski pole at the ski lift. So we didn't know the where, but we did find out what the weapon was, okay? And the final clue. And the final clue is always bolded. So it's kind of like your most important clue. But throughout all of our other clues, we discovered that the ski pole was by the ski lift. Automatically, you're like, okay, we know the what and we know the where. But who did it? And I said midnight 3 with the ski pole by the ski lift. It was CEO Indigo with the ski pole on the ski lift. Here's where the big problem is. I had specifically, there were like 2 people who I wasn't really sure what their situation was, and that was Midnight 3 and Ski Pro Sunflower. They were my 2 suspects. CEO Indigo, I didn't even have him on my radar. I was like, CEO Indigo has the ski boot and he's at the slopes. He has a ski boot at the slopes. What are you talking about? So I don't even know where I fucked up. Did I go back to try and figure out how I fucked up? Where I fucked up? Nope. I was just like, okay. I got that one horribly wrong. So we're hoping for a redemption round today in the Lost Woods. Also, I haven't started this at all. A part of me wants to start it. Another part of me is like, maybe this would be like a fun Christmas Eve, Christmas Day thing to do where I just read through a bunch of whodunits. That would be really cute. I also have this really cute 500-piece puzzle that I kind of want to do for on Christmas Day. So have Hallmark movies playing in the background, make a crock pot of cocoa, maybe a crock pot of glühwein or cider, I don't know, and just do cute shit. I don't know if I'll film that, to be honest. I think I'm just gonna actually take a couple days off from filming, especially after doing 12 days of Vlogmas. But there is a video going up Christmas Day. So if you are at home, and I know the holidays can be rough for a lot of people, trust me, I know. I have had to spend holidays away from my family before. Or maybe you aren't with your family, or maybe you don't celebrate the holidays, and that can be lonely too. Also, it's winter, and I know not everyone's like me, and winter can be hard when it comes to seasonal depression and all that stuff. So there'll just be a fun little 24-hour reading vlog on Christmas for y'all, if you so choose to watch. I know actually a lot of people don't post on Christmas because, I don't know, I feel like someone explained it that it's usually a low watch day because everyone's out and about not doing anything, but I'm like, I don't care. I think it's fun to post Christmas Day for anyone who wants it. And I always post at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, so usually before most people are awake. I just want to give you guys that heads up that is coming down the pipe. I don't know where I was going with that. I was talking about what I plan on doing for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Y'all, this winter has been sheer perfection. For me, winter has, and honestly I think will always be my favorite season. I think not only does it have like so much nostalgia associated with it from my younger years, but also if you didn't grow up with snow, I don't even want to say if you didn't grow up with snow, because there's people who grow up with snow and like hate it, but there's just something so magical about snow in and of itself. And then also, like, if you ever wake up early in the morning, which I do often, my entire life I've always woken up early, and you walk outside after a heavy snowfall and there's just a thick snow covering everything. It's like this blanket over the earth and everything is just so quiet. But it's not like, I don't know, when you say everything's so quiet, people might be like, oh, that's creepy. It's not. It's like, it's really, I don't know how to explain it, but it's one of the most comforting things I can experience. I've just always loved winter, and as someone who never really understood the term seasonal depression because I love winter so much, I understood it when I had to live in SoCal for 4 years and there wasn't really ever a change in the weather. The only reason you could tell it was winter is because the mornings were like 30 degrees and then it got up to 80 degrees later in the day. I think seasonal depression for me is not having seasons, because living in California was like one of the hardest experiences for me, and it had nothing to do with me being in the Marine Corps or like my work schedule or my friendships I had. Like, everything considered, my computer just booted up and they're saying I was like 1 degrees outside and I'm like, yeah, that's normal. Sorry, total squirrel moment. For me, it's just being in a place that was just constant all the time. Like, the weather was what was causing me to like lose my marbles, because everything else was perfect. I loved my job. I loved the people I worked with, even the people I didn't really like. I appreciated their presence in my life, and I loved that time of my life. But what I didn't love was living in a place that had no change in seasons. That was terrible. That was horrible. Oh my God. I was the person, I remember there were a couple of times, we did a weekend trip we did a couple weekend trips as like a team when I was in the Marines. And one of them was to climb Mount San Jacinto. And the thing about California is, while the flat earth may be hot and sweltering, you get up in the mountains and there's snow. And I remember seeing snow in the mountains and I was, oh my God, I was like a happy little kid. I was so excited. And in my office, I was the only one who came from a state that had winter, had snow. Oh, actually, no, there was one other guy who was from Illinois, but like everyone else was from the South. So for them, they're like, oh, snow. But for me, I was freaking out. And they all knew I was freaking out because they all know that I love winter and I love snow. And then there was another time where we went to Yosemite and did a little weekend vacation, weekend trip there, camping trip there. And there was one day where it was like raining all day long. And that was actually the day that we had decided to do pretty much like a giant loop. We were just like walking random trails in Yosemite. But we did it for the whole day. And it was just raining pretty consistently that entire time. And I was having a blast because it was like, oh my God, there was a change in the weather. It was crazy. And then I remember when I was moving back home, when I had gotten out of the Marine Corps and I was moving back home, I decided to make like a little trip of it. So instead of just doing a straight shot across country, but I was like, let me do something fun, let me see something cute, let me try something out. So I went up the PCH along the California coast, which was really pretty. Love that so much. It was a fun ride. And then I got to Mount Shasta, which is right before you get to the Oregon border. And there was snow. And I literally was driving home. I was driving back to Minnesota in May. And I just started crying because there was snow. And there was snow quite a few places. Once I got up into the mountains in Washington, there was snow, a little bit of snow in Montana. And I was just like crying because I lived in a place for so long that didn't have any seasons. And so yeah, I know a lot of people always say seasonal depression comes with the winter. And I definitely understand, obviously, the lack of sunlight. And because of winter, you're usually kind of inside a majority of the time. You can't really get outside often. But I don't know. I loved it. I love the seasons. I love winter. And for me, winter's the happiest time of year. So I'm just curious. Let me know in the comments down below. What is your happiest time of year? It doesn't have to be winter. I totally understand why. First off, I understand why people may not like winter, just logistically speaking. But also, like, emotionally speaking, I understand why winter's not the greatest. But I don't know, I always feel like I need to express why winter is the greatest to people, because it's like, I didn't know how much I love seasons and how much I really love winter until I had to live without it for a few years. And getting it back, I can never live in a place that does not have seasons. Ever again. I can't. I need to have seasons. Wow, this was a really chatty morning. I feel like just my chatty bits are gonna be so long. That's why I tried to like switch up locations for y'all. I'm like, I'm just yapping nonstop. Anyways, y'all, it's Monday. I need to get to work. I may or may not check in a little bit. We'll see. Maybe this is just what this video was. It was a yap session about winter. Showed you guys some snow. I don't know.